Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have a great and wonderful day. And this is where I have to bring you the dark and unwanted news of, potentially of us going into World War III. This is not something that I really like to talk about and kind of skip the story a little bit, just because it makes me feel ill that we may be very, very close to World War III. And it's not me trying to just be, joking or jesting about it. I think it's honestly very close to happening, especially considering the fact that, this is the type of thing that Democrats said they were not going to do, right? Like, we were going to prevent World War III, or Joe Trump will be the one to start World War III, and that's just not what's happening here. What I mean by this, guys, is that Ukraine strikes into Russia with Western weapons. And it goes on to say, just days after the Biden administration granted permission for Ukraine to fire American weapons into Russia, Kiev took advantage of its new latitude, striking a military facility over the border using U.S.-made military system, according to a member of Ukraine's parliament. Yehor Koronev, the deputy chairman of the Ukrainian Parliament's Committee on National Security, Defense, and Intelligence, said on Tuesday that Ukrainian forces had destroyed Russian missile launchers with a strike in the Belgorod region, about 20 miles into Russia. Ukraine's forces used a high-mobility artillery rocket system on HIMARS, he said. It was the first time a Ukrainian official has acknowledged publicly that Ukraine had used American weapons to fire into Russia since President Biden lifted the ban on such strikes. For months, the ban has stood as a red line the Biden administration would not cross out of concern about increasing tensions with nuclear-armed nations. The Ukrainian military did not immediately respond to a request for comment. In granting permission last week, the United States imposed limitations, saying the weapons could only be used in Russian territory near northeastern Ukraine and for defensive purposes. Bishkev in text message said Ukraine destroyed a S-300 and S-400 missile systems without specifying how many Russia has used. The systems, initially designed to shoot down aircraft to bombard the northeastern Ukrainian city of Kharkiv, which is just 45 miles from Belgorod. Let this be known, guys. This is known that U.S. has pretty much stated war with Russia. This has already been obvious here. As you can see here, like, this fire is going on, and we're going to leave this in the background. But this has obviously been stated here, where the U.S. was helping Ukraine during this war. Now we're giving Ukraine U.S. military weapons, and that makes us pretty much abating and allowing us working with Ukraine to be at war. And that's just it. We are, this is where the state is. Now, remember, guys. Now, Democrats, you say that Trump was going to be the one to start war, right? Well, if that's the case, then what it says just days after the Biden administration granted permission for Ukraine to fire American weapons into Russia. Fire them into Russia. So please tell me on what that actually means, people, because I'm actually confused. I really want the far leftists, the Democrats, to defend this and say, like, oh, well, that's what's going on. Don't worry, and I'm going to show you that they've been saying, oh, well, Trump was the one that's going to start World War III. Well, it seems as close to that Biden is, right? So let's go here. And then we have this here, World War III has already begun, claims Russian state TV. It says Vladimir Sokolov, as state TV host and one of the most well-known figures in Kremlin-backed media, made the remarks of the Russia One channel. An excerpt of the broadcast was shared on X, formerly known as Twitter, by Anton Gerashchenko, a former advisor to Ukraine's Minister of Internal Affairs. Russia has no intention of any real negotiations or peace. It is bloodthirsty, wrote Gerashchenko on Tuesday. And it goes on to say that Kremlin propagandists have routinely warned of a looming war. Ties between Washington and Moscow have been increasingly strained over Putin's decision to launch a full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. Well, okay. So this was obviously being posted this is 2024. So that's just not good. And he goes on to say, is like, if you want World War III, you're already in it, Russian propaganda says. Russia has no intention of any real negotiations or peace, and it is bloodthirsty. And it goes on to say, Kremlin official threatens war against NATO if Ukraine uses weapons, U.S. weapons, against Russia. So on Thursday, President Joe Biden partially lifted restrictions on how Ukraine can use military supplies sent by the U.S. In response, senior Russian security official Dmitry Medvedev issued a series of warnings to the West. Russia regards all long-range weapons used by Ukraine as already being directly controlled by servicemen from NATO countries. This is no military assistance. This is participating in a war against us, and such actions could well become a casus belli, an act that provokes a war. He said it would be a fatal mistake on the part of the West to think that Russia was not ready to use tactical nuclear weapons against Ukraine, and spoke of the potential strike unnamed hostile countries with strategic nuclear weapons. He said Moscow's conflict with the West was developing according to the worst-case scenario, and that nobody today can rule out the conflict transition to its final stage. The partially lifted restrictions from the U.S. mean Ukraine can use American weapons to strike inside of Russia, but only in defense of Kharkiv. However, U.S. officials stressed that Ukraine still cannot use American long-range missiles and other munition to strike inside Russia offensively. It doesn't matter. You are still using U.S. weapons, which means the U.S. is pretty much making a full-on direct war with them, right? So that's insane. This is absolutely bloody insane. And like I said, they're threatening war against us or NATO. Let this be known. This is your kids. This is your kids, guys, that will be going to war on behalf of the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is telling you, you can go to war, your people are sacrificial. And by the way, all you leftists, by the way, that were saying, oh, well, it's like, well, Biden's the best. Well, guess what? Now you guys that voted for Biden, you're going to go directly to war. I don't want my friends going to war. I don't want any of my friends going to war. And I'm going to tell you this, if any of my friends go to war, because they're younger than me, and they'll be the first ones drafted if anything that World War III happens, guess what? And they die. The amount of hatred that I will have for all of you because you voted for somebody that we all knew was going to start World War III will be immeasurable, okay? Immeasurable. Because I'm not playing games here. This is a dictatorship, and now he's starting war. And by the way, this is a big thing that I wanted to show to you leftists, because I hope you didn't stray away from the video, because I had to go and explain myself or to show what's really going on in the actual news. But remember when the Democrats were saying, I have multiple articles saying this, that Trump was going to be the one to start World War III, right? Trump was the one that will be part of World War III. Well, guess what we have here? House Democrat says Trump setting stage for World War III. This is from The Hill. CNN. Coker, Trump setting the U.S. on the path to World War III. This was in 2017. This is from 2024. It's saying here, Trump setting stage for World War III. I don't know how that's even remotely possible, considering he's not the sitting president right now. He has no control on whatever happens in terms of the World War, right? This is in February, by the way. February. Saying he's setting the stage for World War III. How? How is he setting stage for World War III? He's not the president. He can't stage anything. I don't know what you're talking about here. And then we have here, back in 2016, Hillary Clinton is right. Donald Trump threatens World War III, and I don't know what this is here, but that didn't happen. This was in 2016, by the way. July 29, 2016. Never happened. 4 years, he never happened. In fact, he made peace deals. We had this here. GOP Senator warns Trump's recklessness
on any given
could
subject
lead to World War III. This was, again, 2017. And then, this is from a GOP, by the way, the Rhino. And then we have this here. Trump could put U.S. on path to World War III, says former ally. This was 6 years ago. So, Democrats, you were saying that Trump was the one that was going to put us into World War III. And even today, in 2024, you were saying that he was also going to be the one that's going to put us into World War III. Well, how is that possible? Because right now, the only person I see that's seen closest to us being in World War III is Joe Biden. Why is Joe Biden giving Ukraine U.S. military missiles? Or weapons. Western weapons. Which is, I like how they say Western weapons, like trying to indicate that it's, maybe it's the UK or England or what have you, or Canada, because they're not being very specific, right? But here's the thing, what they should say is that Ukraine strikes into Russia with United States weapons or U.S. weapons. That's what should be the actual term here, right? And that's not what it said here. It just says Western weapons. No. This is the U.S. This is the United States weapons, right? So, last time I checked, it seems that Joe Biden is willing to sacrifice the American people for a war that has nothing to do with us. And we told you guys this was going to happen, that Joe Biden was going to do it. And you told us that Trump was going to do it. And you're still saying that Trump is going to do it back in this year that he's setting up world for World War III, even though it's Biden that's letting Ukraine use Western material, using Western weapons. So I don't know about you guys, but it seems that you guys fell for the lie because it seems Biden is the one is making us go to World War III. That's what's going on here. So say what you will. Say what you will about this. But it's insane to me. It's insane. Well, here's what we have. Hopefully this never actually happens. Hopefully that they don't actually indicate or want to go to World War III. Hopefully Russia does not use nuclear weapons. But Godspeed. Godspeed, because it's not looking good here, and I do not want to be in World War. And thanks for voting for Biden if this happens. You caused it. Go to war for the people that you voted for. Because you deserve to go to war. You voted for him. We told you this was going to happen, and now you have to reap what you sow. Have fun on the battlefield. Hopefully my friends don't go. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care my friends.
I'm disgusted by what I see in public. Even people closest to us can't be trusted. This is algorithmic disease, the social media.